I wore my best dress. I got there early. I even brought a gift, on top of everything else I'd already given. The wedding planner pulled me aside before I reached the door. "You'll need to wait outside until after the ceremony." I stared at her. "I'm sorry, what?" "Bride's orders. You can come in for the reception." People were watching. My parents stood 10 feet away. They looked at the ground. My sister, my own sister, had banned me from her wedding. Why would she do that? Especially after I'd paid for half of it? I had the receipts, literally. They were in my bag. I turned around. I walked to my car. I got in and I left. 3 hours later, her perfect wedding was in flames. But let me back up, because you need to understand how we got here. Drop your city and the time in the comments. I want to know where this story is finding you right now. And hit subscribe. What happened next changed everything. My sister Claire was always the pretty one. Mom used to say it out loud. "Claire has the face for the spotlight. You have the work ethic." That was my role. The dependable one, the one who didn't need attention. Claire got the dance lessons, the pageants, the college fund that somehow never quite covered her bills. I got a library card and 2 part-time jobs. I put myself through state school. I learned to code, then pivoted into digital marketing. By 26, I had a decent salary and an apartment I was proud of. Claire bounced between retail jobs and influencer attempts. She was always waiting for her big break. When she got engaged, my parents called me. "We need to talk about the wedding." I knew what that meant. "Claire's always dreamed of something beautiful," my mom said. "Your father and I can contribute $5,000. But we were hoping you could help out. You know, since you're doing so well." I should have said no, but I wanted them to see me, just once. I wanted to be part of something. So I said yes. We built a shared spreadsheet. Every vendor, every deposit, every payment. I logged everything. It's just how I'm wired. I thought we were building something together. 2 weeks before the wedding, Claire called. I thought she wanted to thank me. I was wrong. "Hey, so tiny thing." That's how Claire started the call. "Tiny thing. I need you to do me a huge favor on the wedding day." "Sure," I said. "What do you need?" She paused. Then, in her sweetest voice, "I need you to stay out of the ceremony." I actually laughed. I thought she was joking. "Wait, what?" "It's just for the photos. You know how important the aesthetic is." And another pause. "Your look doesn't really match the vibe we're going for." My look. "Claire, I'm your sister." "I know. And you'll still be there for the reception. It's just like 30 minutes. You can wait in the bridal suite. Or outside, if the suite is full. It's really not a big deal. You want me to sit outside your wedding." "Don't make it sound like that. It's my day. I just want everything to be perfect." I tried to push back. I mentioned the money, carefully, not wanting to sound petty. She cut me off. "That was a gift. You can't hold gifts over people. That's toxic." My hands were shaking. "If you make a scene about this, you'll ruin everything," she said. "Just be a good sister, please." I told her I'd think about it. I hung up. Then I sat in silence for 6 days. And I went through every single file I had. I told my best friend. She said I should skip the whole thing. But then my parents called. "Claire's really stressed." "You're not helping." She told me to sit outside. "She's just nervous. Don't be selfish. This is her day." I started to doubt myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I should just suck it up. Be the bigger person. So I went. I drove 2 hours. I parked. I walked up to that beautiful venue, the one I'd paid the deposit for. The flowers were stunning. I'd paid for those too. The champagne tower in the lobby. Mine. The ceremony arch wrapped in white roses. Also mine, I saw it all. My money everywhere. Then the planner appeared. Her voice was calm, professional, like she'd done this before. "You'll need to wait outside until after the ceremony." Bride's request. I looked past her. I saw my parents near the entrance. They saw me, and they looked away. That's when I knew. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter how much I gave. I was never going to be enough. So I opened my phone. The spreadsheet was still there. So were the bank transfers. And I left. I sat in my car, engine off, hands on the wheel. I opened the spreadsheet. Claire had changed the sharing settings. I was view only now. She'd locked me out of editing. But I still had the original export. And I had the bank records. I scrolled through line by line. Venue deposit, $4,200. Paid by me. Catering, $9,100. Me. Florals and decor, $2,800. Me. Photographer, $1,900. Me. Total wedding budget, $35,000. My contribution, $18,000. More than half. I took screenshots. I uploaded everything to my personal cloud. Then I just sat there. $18,000. That's what my so-called gift was worth. And she still told me to sit outside. She knew. She'd always known. And she did it anyway. My phone started buzzing. Texts from my mom. From my dad. From cousins. Where are you? You're embarrassing us. Get back here. I didn't answer. I put the car in drive. But I didn't go home. I had one more thing to check first. By that evening, the family group chat was a war zone. 37 messages. I read every one. How could you do this to her? On her wedding day? So selfish. Claire is devastated. My aunt chimed in. Then a cousin I hadn't spoken to in 3 years. Even the groom's sister. All of them, piling on. Claire posted an Instagram story that night. No names, just a quote graphic. Sometimes the most toxic people are family. Choosing peace over toxicity today. The comments flooded in. Heart emojis. You deserve better, Queen. Cut them off. I started losing followers. The next morning, my phone pinged. Venmo request. From Claire. $2,000. The note said, wedding distress and disruption. She was charging me for leaving. I stared at it for a full minute. Then my mom called. You owe her an apology. Frankly, you owe all of us one. For what? For making everything about you. For ruining her day. My dad got on the line. If you don't make this right, don't bother coming to Thanksgiving. They hung up. I sat on my couch. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I opened my laptop. And I went back through every single text Claire had sent me in the past 6 months. What I found made everything clear. I found the thread from 2 months earlier. It was supposed to be between Claire and her maid of honor. But someone had accidentally added me to the group text. I'd never noticed. It was buried under hundreds of other messages. I scrolled up. There it was. Just keep asking, Claire wrote. They'll pay. They always do. They're desperate to be liked, LOL. The maid of honor replied. You're terrible. I love it. There was more. A week later, Claire messaged the wedding planner. The planner had replied all by mistake. Confirmed. Seating for guest of honor's sibling will be in overflow area. Per your request, no aisle visibility. We'll arrange alternate location if needed. Claire's response, perfect. I don't want them in any photos. Seriously, they'll ruin the vibe. I took screenshots of everything. Timestamps, names, every word. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't wedding stress. It was premeditated, calculated, cruel. And I'd paid $18,000 for the privilege of being humiliated. I didn't feel angry, not yet. I felt something colder, clarity. For the first time in my life, I understood exactly who my sister was. And I knew exactly what I had to do. I started digging, not out of spite. I just needed to understand. A mutual friend let something slip during a phone call. Yeah. Claire mentioned they're pretty tight on money. The wedding's supposed to help her launch, you know? Launch what? I did some searching. Public records. Social media. Turns out Claire and her fiancé were drowning. Credit card debt, over $40,000. A car lease they couldn't afford. Student loans in forbearance. And Claire had a plan. She'd already registered a business Instagram account. Luxury Bride LLC. She was going to monetize the wedding, turn it into content, become an influencer. She needed everything perfect. She needed the aesthetic, the right people in the right frame. And she needed me invisible because the groom's family, old money, traditional, judgmental. She wasn't just getting married. She was auditioning, and I was a liability. The wedding wasn't about love. It wasn't even about the marriage. It was a performance, a product launch, and I was the ATM who didn't fit the brand. I closed my laptop. I finally understood. She didn't need a sister. She needed funding and then silence. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid to say no. I made an appointment with a lawyer. Just a 1-hour consultation. I brought everything. The spreadsheet. The bank transfers. The emails. She read through it all. She looked up. These aren't gifts. You have documented agreements here. She promised repayment after the honeymoon. It's right here in her emails. I'd forgotten about that. But she was right. Claire had written it, twice. This is recoverable, the lawyer said. Small claims, most likely, but you have a strong case. I thanked her. I paid for the session. I went home. Then I got to work. I drafted a formal demand letter, clean, professional, no insults. Just facts and a timeline. I put together an evidence folder. Every screenshot, every receipt, every email, organized by date. Then I wrote an email to my family. Subject line: setting the record straight. The body was 3 sentences. The attachment was a PDF, 22 pages. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't justify. I just showed them the truth. I saved the email in my drafts. I looked at it for a long time. Then I took a breath. And I hit send. It was 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. By noon, my phone was on fire. The first call was from my mom. She was furious. Then she opened the attachments. Silence. I didn't know she said those things. You didn't ask. She hung up. My dad called 10 minutes later. He didn't say much. Just, we need to talk about this. Claire called 30 seconds after that. She was screaming, then crying, then threatening. You're trying to destroy my marriage. I'll sue you for defamation. I stayed calm. Everything I sent is documented. If you want to dispute it, we can do that in small claims court. My lawyer is ready. She hung up. The lawyer sent the formal demand letter that afternoon. Certified mail. By the next day, the groom's parents were involved. They'd seen the debt, the Instagram business account, the texts about milking me for money. They were mortified. A family meeting was called. Video call. Everyone on the grid. I joined, camera off. Microphone muted. My dad shared his screen. He pulled up the PDF. Page by page, they went through it. The spreadsheet. The $18,000. The group text. They'll pay. They're desperate. The planner email. Keep them out of frame. The promised repayment that never came. My mom tried to defend Claire at first. Then she just stopped talking. Claire tried to spin it. I was joking. It was taken out of context. No one bought it. The groom looked sick. His mother's face was stone. My dad finally asked, "Why didn't you tell us?" "I did," I said. "You told me I was being selfish." Silence. I unmuted one last time. "I want repayment within 12 months or we go to court. And I'm stepping back from this family until I see real change. I'm done being invisible." I left the call. 2 days later, the groom's parents pulled some of the honeymoon funding. Claire's influencer account never got off the ground. And I finally started to breathe. 3 months later, the first payment cleared. $500. It came through on the first of the month, like we'd agreed. Claire and her husband set up a payment plan. 12 months? $18,000 total. They're 4 months in now. They haven't missed one yet. But the marriage is strained. The groom's family keeps their distance. They're polite but cold. The trust is gone. Claire's Instagram account sits at 900 followers. She posted the wedding photos once. The engagement was low. The comments were generic. The influencer dream died quietly. My parents reached out after a few weeks. My mom sent a long text, an apology sort of, a request to talk. I agreed to low-contact therapy, once a month, with a mediator. We've had 2 sessions so far. It's slow. It's uncomfortable. But it's something. Some cousins apologized privately. A few sent messages saying they didn't know the whole story. Others didn't, and that's okay. I've made peace with it. I moved into a new apartment. Smaller, but it's mine. No shared history. No baggage. I started going to therapy on my own. Weekly sessions. I'm learning about boundaries, about scapegoat dynamics, about choosing myself. I made new friends, people who see me, who don't keep score. When the second payment came through, I did something I'd been thinking about. I donated $2,000 to a nonprofit called Scapegoat No More. They support people recovering from family trauma. I went to their ribbon-cutting event last month. It felt good. Quiet, but good. I used to think that love meant sacrifice. That family meant endurance. But I've learned something better. Love without respect isn't love. It's control. And walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. I don't talk to Claire anymore. Maybe one day. Maybe not. But I'm not waiting for her to change. I'm not waiting for permission to take up space. I'm just living. And that's enough. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to set a boundary with family? What did it cost you? And what did it give you back? I read every comment. I want to hear your story. And if this one meant something to you, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell. I've got more stories about choosing yourself when the world tells you not to. I'll see you in the next one. This story is a fictionalized dramatization and is not legal or financial advice.